Welcome everybody. I hope I'm hearable. And today I would like to talk about Agile in a very pleasant environment. So welcome, and I think coming back to the question which I already posted, why do you think organizations with a rigid structure currently struggle? I think this is a very important question which I already talked about lately, that this is also a problem of organizations, and what is important about organizations is that you have two main types of organizations, right? I talked about organizations which are machine type organizations and living organism organizations. And one of the whys which I already shared with you was that indeed currently why these organizations with rigid structure struggle is because simply majority of them is not anymore modern. The work culture is not flexible, doesn't allow flexibility. It's very rigid and bureaucratic. And I think to understand and actually give full answer to this question and share with you whys, all different 5 whys to get to the root of the problem, I think it's also because currently we fight with financial but also energy crisis. We also have war in Ukraine, and definitely this situation with inflation going up doesn't really help, and is even enforcing this crisis, enforcing this change. That's, I think, the next answer to this why. The third why is, I think, what very nicely Praseida, one of the journalists in UK already, which I linked to the article, I already put it in the comments, mentioned that more and more people since crisis and pandemic actually allowed to work remotely want to have more flexibility. And of course this type of remote type jobs are already increasing on the market, suggesting that there is already change happening in the way of working. You can work basically from any place except, of course, research lab, biology labs, life sciences labs, which you have to spend time in the lab to perform experiments. But in types of other type of work that you work on analyzing data and so on, you can do it already remotely. So I think that's a big plus because it's reducing basically traveling time, reducing tiredness caused by extensive traveling, and definitely it's contributing to more work efficient way of working. I think the next, I would say, answer to this why would be about indeed that people already got used to, after pandemic, working remotely, would like to have more flexibility, which this remote way of working already introduced. So, but they also would like to have more fun. They would like to have more space for personal development, which these rigid organizations don't really allow to happen. So I think that that's also something which people would like to have. Also would like to have an environment which would stimulate creativity and allow creativity by a bottom-up approach, not creativity which is dictated from the top, but creativity which is stimulated at the work floor and by the work floor environment. So I think this is very important, to stimulate this creativity and create fun, creative work environment. And I think, although, you know, you could think like we all very creative and we all want to work in very creative, a pleasant environment, we also have to look from team perspective. We still don't have the self-managing teams, which are more responsible, where micromanagement is really reduced drastically, and actually hopefully will disappear. So more responsible teams in our organizations, rigid organizations. But to do that, of course, there needs to be transformation happening, a change, whatever you call it. I call it agile transformation, and that's why agile can be very useful. Agile transformation, agile type of transformation can be very useful to change this rigid structure of organization so that we don't feel trapped, all employees and teams first of all. So how to do that? I think the easiest is, which Agile brings in, is to change first of all in Agile way work culture. And by changing work culture, we're going to step by step change the rigid type of organization, so machine type organizations, hopefully into living type of organizations. And of course, as a humans, we are living organisms, so we know all about this, how it's to be living organism. But at the same time, the challenge is to transform our mindset, and the same happens with organization, with the leaders, which also have to change their mindset. And this mindset needs to be followed by the work floor and commonly accepted and also discussed. That's the important thing, that this is discussed and well approved by everybody. So I think first transformation happen at the work culture level, then the next transformation is happening at the organization structure. So from organization which was rigid, now this rigid organization, even with rigid structure, already acquires or will acquire, and this is really the highest time, the flexible work culture. And having flexible work culture, so agile work culture, we're going to move to organization which is living type of organization, so agile organization. And I hope this will happen for all different organizations, including universities, which have also very old-fashioned structure. And I'm going to talk about this in next vlog, particularly focusing on universities, since more and more insights is coming, not only on social media, but there are a lot of people is discussing university structure, how university serves public, how university serves highly skilled PhDs. And about this I will talk at the next vlog, bringing, I think, still beach environment. I think this is very agile way, and bringing some fresh energy coming right straight from the North Sea. So please stay tuned. For those which are going for holidays, I wish you great holiday time, but I will continue the agile sunny vlogs from the beach, so stay tuned and see you in the next vlog. Bye!